Hi, I'm the skip intro button, Eddie, and I'm joining you from Lebanon, from Batun, actually, the north of Lebanon. It is suddenly windy today, and what a beautiful weather to talk about poetry. Hi, Martin. Hi.
Hey, how's it going, Eddie?
It's going all right. How's it going on your end?
Yeah, going really well, thanks. We actually had some sun for a bit today. It's kind of gone away a bit now, but yeah, we had an hour of sun, so that was summer, 30th of April to 30th of April.
Is that how it always is in the
Yeah,
UK?
pretty much. Essentially, you need a bag prepared with a rain jacket and some sun cream and a couple of other bits. So the moment it gets sunny, you can just charge out the house and appreciate all of the summer. Have
Like,
your Uber ready to the park and stuff like that. It's you got to be prepared.
you gotta be prepared. Speaking of prepared, are you ready for today's show? Because we have a lot of
Certainly am.
things to talk about, and we will start with you. What do you have to share with us, Martin, in the world of poetry this
Well,
week?
what do I have to share with you and our wonderful audience? Well, Vogons. Specifically, the Vogon Poetry Slam, which is happening on the 25th of May online on Zoom. And this is a free 99 event. So, the Vogon Poetry Slam, it's a reference to The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And the Vogons are the purveyors of the third worst poetry in the universe. I don't think it ever specifies who the first and second worst are. So, this is a poetry slam where the worst poem wins. They are looking for your nerdiest, worst, most cliched, just most cringeworthy, badly executed poems. If it's hilariously bad, hilariously nerdy, or even better, both, they want to hear it. Sign-ups to actually be a slammer have closed, but it's a great event to go along to and just watch and enjoy. It's very much a regular event for me. And I know last year we had poems including a Star Trek TNG love poem featuring lines like set phasers to stunning. There was somebody who made a poem entirely out of footnotes from stuffy old poetry books. The winning poem by Tim Kiley, the performance, he had someone just off screen that was kind of playing with a pair of sunglasses that he was wearing. And whenever the sunglasses fell down onto his face, his whole character changed with how he was in the poem and the message and things like that. It's just hilarious. It's
Yeah.
hilariously silly. And it's such an opposite of pretty much any other kind of type of slam out there that's kind of very polished, where everything, this one's the complete turn on its head. The worse it is, the better it is. And it's just a great laugh.
That is awesome. When is it again? On
It, so it's the 25th of May and it's from 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. UK time. And tickets are free on Eventbrite. And of course, links below as ever.
Definitely. That is awesome. Like to win or to try to craft the worst poem you could craft is in by itself challenging and intelligent. Like the goal is to create a poem that has all these cliches and cringeworthy moments in them, and that in by itself is should be appreciated because there's a lot of effort to go there. I mean, you could just write something out of the blue, and we cannot deny there are a lot of people who write poetry and it's not as polished as one would expect. But then to go and try to be as bad as one can be, that in by itself is a challenge. And I would like to see it. And you're saying that it's hilarious. I would like to see it. I'm definitely going to be there.
It's so true, isn't it? And it's kind of a bit like trying to capture lightning in a bottle. It's like we've all, exactly like you say, we've all written poems that are bad poems, but generally speaking, those bad poems are just bad. It's
Yeah.
very rare that a bad poem ends up just being kind of hilarious or amazing kind of in its own way, or something that, say, nerds out so much that it just becomes really charming kind of as a result of that. And especially if you make an effort to actually craft a piece like that. And it's really,
Right.
it really turns it on its head. It's a real skill. And although, there's only 12 spots in this, and I've never actually taken part as a slammer. But I know if I did, I think I'd actually have quite a hard job writing a poem that would stand up in terms of its kind of badness or nerdiness compared to some of these other ones. And it's just fun.
Yeah, I
Sometimes
can.
we just need something that's just fun. And this is exactly what the Vogon Slam is.
Awesome.
Mm.
Oh, that is cool. I want to get there. I want to attend. So
Oh,
we will
free
see
and
all of
online.
you guys there, and it's free. Yes.
It's free. It's online. Tickets available. Link is below. And I'm sure the Vogons would love for you to attend as well. So thanks, Eddie, for your thoughts on that. And stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment.
Welcome back, everyone. I have a workshop for you all, and this workshop will take place on May 20th. It is titled Images and Symbols, a poetry workshop on ekphrasis. And this poetry workshop is held by the De Morgan Foundation, and it will take place, like I said, on Friday, the 20th of May at 11 a.m. GMT. It's just a 1 hour workshop from 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. GMT. And let me tell you a bit about this event. In this relaxed poetry workshop suitable for all abilities, you'll be able to, or you'll be looking at the art of Evelyn de Morgan for inspiration. You'll dip in your pens in de Morgan's jewel-like palette as you step inside the deeply symbolic and profoundly beautiful words of her paintings to see what techniques or images we might borrow from our own work. Basically, what I like about ekphrasis poetry is that it is poetry on uh, paintings or images or photographs or things that are still. And I enjoy this because it kind of forces you to limit yourself to that idea, but then you go beyond. It's kind of uh, centrifugal in the way you go inside this work, inside this work of art, inside this painting, and you let your imagination go. A little bit about the host. The host is Elora Sutton, and she is a poet from Hampshire, UK. Her poetry has been published by Poetry Review, Poetry Birmingham, Literary Journal, Interpreter's House, and Poetry News, not ours, amongst others. She has won the Dyslexia Poetry Competition, the Pre-Raphaelite Society Poetry Competition, and the Artilist Art 2 Poetry Award. How can I'm gonna throw it to you. Okay, so I'm gonna end here. And so what do you think, Martin, about this workshop and curator and the ekphrasis poetry in general?
I like the idea of it, and I think it's something I'd be keen to explore a bit more, because it's another string to your bow in terms of your writing. It's another way to stimulate your mind and make you think about things. If you can do this in response to an image, will that help train your brain if you're just walking around kind of looking at things day to day? I think it probably would. And on the Eventbrite, looking at this image of this person, and in particular, this art form, this poetry writing art form, makes you study an image in massive detail just to find the things that are drawn out for you in it. And I'm really noticing this person's eyes and expression, and I find it. I'm drawn to the idea of what is this person thinking. And maybe if I was in this workshop, if this was the piece, maybe that might be the basis for the poem I write. And I feel from that, I'm kind of getting into the idea of what you would do kind of with ekphrasis and where you could take it. And I would say also as well, in terms of the host, Elora Sutton, poetry reviewer for Dyslexia. Dyslexia is a really good, it's a really good a literary journal publishes some really amazing poets by some really amazing female identifying writers. So there's definitely a lot of credibility behind this. So I'd strongly recommend, if you've got an interest in ekphrasis, definitely go check it out.
It seems like an interesting workshop. I'm sure it will be beneficial for people to just look at artwork and maybe start from there. Maybe people who haven't done ekphrasis, maybe they can start there and then move past that. I enjoy going to museums, especially modern and contemporary art museums, and just sit there for hours and writing. I take a notebook with me and go to museums. There are a few here in Lebanon that I visit, and I just spend hours. And every time, and maybe it's like it's happened a couple times where I visit the same painting or the same sculpture or the same installation, and I write something different every single time. And that's the beauty of ekphrasis, because it can take you places you wouldn't normally go.
Well, I mean, you know, that's one of the main reasons they have seats in museums in front of really big or important images or sculptures or something like that. You know, we often, if you spend just an hour or two walking around a museum, you might just look at something and go, oh, that's really cool, or that's really nice. But how closely do you really look at it? This form makes you really, really look at a particular image. And, it's only an hour. If you go, it's an hour. Pop along, see what you think.
Exactly. So we will see you there on May 20th at 11 a.m. GMT. The link will be down in the description to this video, and we will be back right after this.
Welcome back, everyone. And just before I introduce the next segment, I'd like to tell you something that happened. So I went on a coffee date with a yoga teacher the other day, and I met her and I said, which cafe do you want to go to? And she said, I'm flexible. So I said, yeah, but which cafe do you want to go to?
Yes, I love this joke. Yes.
Finally, someone likes it. Excellent.
Yeah, that's a really nice. Yeah, I wish I yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. And to anyone who is still watching and to anyone who is still watching after that joke, we found something on the internet that we thought was quite interesting to us. In the previous segment, we talked about ekphrastic poetry and how images can inspire your writing, but so might also the poetry prompt generator. Now, this is something on the website robertpeake.com. Robert Peake, who is a poetry teacher who to date has published 4 books of poetry, 2 of which are still available through Nine Arches Press. So the poetry prompt generator gives you several options. So you can select between 1 and 50 word prompts. You can select between 0 and 5 challenges, and you can select whether you want an image or not. And you essentially just select all these 3 things. It's all completely free. It comes up with these words, these challenges, an image if you want it. And then I guess your challenge from there is to make a poem out of that. So I think let's run through this with you, Eddie. So how many words? Give a number between 1 and 50.
8. It's my lucky number.
8. Fantastic. And how many challenges?
Let's make it simple and go with 2. Let's just something not too difficult, not too simple though.
2. Okay. And should we have an image or not?
Since we're talking about ekphrasis, let's include 1.
Excellent. So I'm going to click to get the prompts. So let's see here. So let's see. So 8 words. Ripens, tizzies, assuredly, climax, reinvented, helicoptered, provenance, and sonoran. I'm not quite sure what sonoran means. They say you can include variations on those words. The challenges: mention 1 or more extinct animals and refer to a war, battle, or famous warrior. And your image is an old black and white, looks like a magazine image of a horse and cart and what looks like a noble family getting into a horse and cart. And so you enter that, and that would be your challenge to make a poem, which sounds kind of hard, but I guess that's part of the point. And of course, you can make
Exactly.
it with no challenges and just one word and things like that. I can't imagine how difficult it would be if you set 50 words as your challenge, but I guess that's why the number kind of goes up to 50. So,
Yeah.
what do you think about this, Eddie?
It is. It is actually really cool. The idea that first of all there is something out there. I mean, in our last episode we talked about e-poetry, and then here we are using technology to technology. Wow, we're using this, a software to generate prompts, and it's really cool because it kind of I enjoy these when you are forced to do something with certain words, certain challenges. It is challenging, and I love challenges. I love this idea of not you like directing yourself towards a certain direction, because sometimes you want to write but you just don't know
Mm.
where to start, where you want to go. There's nothing there, but you feel like I need to write. So these things are amazing. That's why I like ekphrasis. That's why I like poems on images, because they kind of force you into a direction. But then there's this. It's really cool, and the challenges are interesting. Like name an extinct animal and mention a war or something. That's really cool. I like this. I like this idea. I mean, it does remind me of like the very first uh, assignment I had in creative writing class as an undergrad. We literally had around 20 nouns and like 15 verbs, and our assignment was to only write using these words. We're not
Mm.
allowed to use anything else. You could of course use articles and all that, but that was it. And that's fun. It's fun because you go places, and yeah, this is really fun.
Well, that's it. It's like that constraint forces things in a certain direction, doesn't it? And I
Mhm.
know that there are so many little writing challenges that you can do, and obviously this prompt generator sets some off. But um, I know a friend of mine likes these challenges where you're not allowed to use a certain vowel, so you have to write a poem but never use the letter O, for example,
Hmm.
um, or you can pick a consonant or whatever. Uh, just there are so many inventive ways where you can just test your writing, and I think it's
Exactly.
great that there are so many of these resources out there, and you can have some fun with it and you can make it as easy or as difficult as you like. I would say I can't imagine how hard that would have been just to have such a constraint of words
Mm.
um, like that. I imagine that'd be really difficult, especially as I mentioned on the show before, I'm generally a bit more of a freeform poet, but I've been going through, starting to come out of it now, but going through quite a long period where I feel like I've really struggled to write anything I'm happy with. I've been going through this
Yeah.
phase where I feel like everything's been forced, and so maybe
Yeah.
something like this, I'm going to give it a try,
Same.
see if this will help me out. But I think with all these things, the three things we've done on the show today, the one thing they've really all got in common is that they're fun.
Yeah.
The Vogon Slam is fun.
Yeah.
This poetry prompt generator, you might get a good poem out of it, but it's fun. A 1 hour workshop on ekphrastic poetry. Take any image you want, see what you get from it. It's fun. It's just
Exactly.
having fun with words, and isn't that the essence of what poetry
Exactly.
is?
Exactly. And if you're not having fun doing it, then you should stop and reassess.
Mm.
Like writing poetry in general. If you're not necessarily having fun enjoying it, if it doesn't if it doesn't change anything in you, like deep inside you feel something has moved, something I enjoy doing this, then you need
Yeah.
to stop and reassess as to
It,
what you're doing and what's happening and what should you change and all that. And yeah, and all of these three topics we talked about today, they're all kind of directional. Like you have
mm.
a way, an alleyway. I want to write about this one image or painting or photograph. I want to write with the goal of making the worst poem ever, or I want to write using these specific words. That's awesome. I like how we tied things together.
Exactly. And that's the thing, because it's like this is also something that we have a lot of fun making, and it's nice that all these things have been tied together. But it's absolutely true what you say, isn't it, Eddie? It's like to be in the process of writing, it's got to be doing something for you. Like you say, either you're having fun or it's giving you some catharsis and some help with something that's on your mind. It's got to be doing something for you, because you can feel that when you're reading a poem or listening to a poem or watching a poem or whatever. You can feel if it means something to the person who's written it or the person who's performing it, and that's really important. So I just think a lot of fun things to try. So thank you for your thoughts on that, mate.
Thank you for bringing this this website, this link, this article, this idea, this topic.
Cool. Oh yeah, that's a really good point. It's at robertpeake.com. That's Robert PEAKE.com, and of course link down below. Cool.
Yes.
Everything down below. So
everything down below.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm supporting you, right?
Yes. Accidental innuendos. Yeah. So, bit more to come. Stay with us. We'll be back right after this. So thanks everyone for watching the show today. We hope you enjoyed some of the things we covered, and we hope to see you at some of these things or using some of these things. I would say we come out every other Tuesday at 7 p.m. London time, and we'd love to get a conversation going. We'd love to know what you think about the articles. We'd love to know about other things that are going on. So I've been practicing my YouTuber thing. Like, share, comment, subscribe. That will be awesome. Let's get a conversation going. And also follow us, Eddie.
Yes. Follow us. Check us out on Instagram and TikTok at the PGN Official. We're on Facebook as well. It's at the Poetry Global Network. And if you have anything you want to tell us, other than commenting down below, if it's something private, you can always send us an email at thepoetryglobalnetwork@gmail.com. All of the socials will be down there. Our socials will be down there as well. And check us out on Instagram. And we will see you all in a couple of weeks. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Goodbye.
Take care. Bye.